Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Hendu's show. We're so excited that you're here. Okay guys, tonight we're going to talk about, Trump has came out and endorsed Johnson for Speaker of the House. And anything Trump goes for, I'm for. Now, Steve Bannon's not really for him, so that's a little controversy. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, this is CNN's take. Let's get with it. And then also, after that, we'll talk about some visas.
In his endorsement of Mike Johnson's re-election bid for Speaker of the House just ahead of Friday's critical vote. Let's discuss all of this with CNN's Kristen Holmes. She's doing some late-minute reporting on what's going on. How much of a big deal is this Trump endorsement, Kristen, for Johnson?
Well,
Anytime Trump endorses somebody, it's big.
it's still somewhat of a big deal, even though we are hearing House members say that despite this endorsement, they are not going to vote for Mike Johnson, or it doesn't push them over the edge when it comes to Mike Johnson. But what we had seen in the last several weeks was Mike Johnson kind of twisting in the wind. Essentially, Donald Trump had weeks ago told Johnson behind closed doors, told people around him that of course he was going to support Johnson, but everything changed with that funding bill. We saw Trump and Elon Musk tank the CR that Johnson had worked behind the scenes on for weeks, trying to get that across the finish line. And then
CNN's surprising me a little bit tonight. They're not like negative on Trump.
Became a big question mark whether or not Trump was actually going to get behind Johnson. He was asked by multiple reporters what he was going to do when it came to Johnson's speakership. He said he's going to see what happens with the funding bill. Now, one thing that did happen, we saw Elon Musk, and reading through the tea leaves here, posting on X that the speaker did a good job despite the circumstances, obviously given Musk's relationship with Trump. That gave us some indication of where Trump was, but Trump had not said anything publicly until now. And here's what he posted. He said, Speaker Mike Johnson is a good, hardworking, religious man. He will do the right thing, and we will continue to.
I love the way that Trump is bringing Elon Musk into all this stuff. You know, you got to bring the smart guys in. It's really tearing up the Democrats.
When Mike has my complete and total endorsement, MAGA. So one thing is clear, this is a good thing for Speaker Johnson, but that doesn't necessarily dictate the outcome, particularly, as I said, we've already seen some of these House members say that they adore President Trump, that they want to work with President Trump, but that's not going to change their opinion on Johnson.
Interesting. All right. Thanks very much.
They're trying their very best to dump on Trump, but they can't. They just can't do it. They're under too much pressure.
Follow question, Kristen, before I let you go. Trump is siding with Elon Musk on the sensitive issue of H-1B visas, an issue that is clearly dividing his MAGA supporters. Today,
Those are the high-tech visas for the smart people.
Steve Bannon weighed in, escalating the feud. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, here, and it shows you how difficult immigration is going to be, one of the top issues for Donald Trump and Republicans as he takes office in January. Now, here's what Donald Trump said to the New York Post when it came to this back and forth over these immigration visas. He said, I've always liked the visas. I have always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer in H-1B. Now, Elon Musk is also a believer in H-1B visas. These are these visas for high-tech, educated.
We don't want dumb immigrants. We want smart immigrants.
Skilled workers that much of Silicon Valley relies on. A lot of the people around Elon Musk, David Sachs, for example, another person who Donald Trump is close to, they are all in support of this, but Donald Trump's hardliners on immigration, like Steve Bannon, they are not. So it was interesting to see how this plays out, but I would pretty much put money on the fact that
There goes Steve. He's in the shadows.
Don't think this is the last time we're going to hear about this, Wolf.
I suspect you're actually right. Kristen Holmes, thank you very, very much. I want to turn now to CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings for his analysis.
I love Scott Jennings. Boy, I tell you what, when he does the round table, CNN round tables with those girls, he just kicks their butt. They don't know what to do.
Republican Congressman Tim Burchett, who is undecided on the speaker vote, earlier today on Fox. Listen to this.
I'll make up my mind Friday or so when we do the votes. I'll pray about it. I'll talk to the speaker some. I might talk to the president. President Trump is very compelling, though. As I've said earlier, he's the largest dog in the pound.
So what do you
I think that accent's from Miami. What do you think?
What do you think, Scott? Will this Trump endorsement put him over the top?
I hope so, because the longer Republicans engage in this infighting, the longer it's going to be until we get started on Donald Trump's agenda. I think that's why Donald Trump came out for Mike Johnson's.
You got three groups. You got the Democrats, you got Trump, which is MAGA, and then you got the rhinos. Personally, I think the rhinos are about as useless as the Democrats, but that's what we got right now.
Strongly, he wants Republicans to set all of this infighting aside and get focused on passing bills. I think he'd love to sign some bills into law right after he takes the oath of office on January 20th. So if you spend all this time...
This Johnson guy, he's about 50-50 to me. He's a little milk water. I think Trump thinks the same thing, but, you know, sometimes you got to play the hand you're dealt.
Days fighting over the speaker, you leave less time for getting started on his agenda. So
Well,
I think it's going to be important.
Do you think, Scott, the Republican Party can survive another major speakers battle like what happened to McCarthy last year?
I mean, the party can survive it. It's just why do we need to think about having to survive
Nothing like a good bloodbath.
something when we have an obvious option here? Mike Johnson has done a good job. Look, anytime the numbers are this close, it's going to be a very difficult job, and there are things that aren't going to go smoothly every single time, and we just have to accept that. Johnson's done a good job. The president trusts him. The president won the election, and a lot of Republicans won because of Donald Trump and the agenda he put forward. So what Donald Trump is saying is, give me a speaker that I trust and that I can work with so we can begin to pass my agenda. That ought to be a good enough reason for any member of the House Republican Conference. We've got a very closely divided House. The only way to move anything forward here is to have teamwork, to stick together. Republicans need to start that process with the speaker's vote.
I want to turn to the very sensitive issue of the H-1B visa debate within MAGA world, Scott.
H-1B visa.
Trump now says H-1B visas are great, but here's MAGA loyalist Steve Bannon. Listen to this.
The program from top to bottom is a scam and a con.
Now, my wife loves Steve Bannon, and she's one of the smartest people I know. So if she's for it, there must be something to it. But, well, I know that him and Trump used to be real close. I'm not quite sure where they're at right now, but we'll see how it works out.
There is nothing in this program that should continue to exist. Nothing. The workers are here on this should be deported as soon as the 15 million that we're going to start deporting on the afternoon of the 20th of January. Deport.
I hope he doesn't deport Elon.
Them now.
So do you think, Scott, this issue has the potential to create a lasting rift within Trump's MAGA base?
I hope not, and I would just simply say whose name was on the ballot? Donald Trump's, and he's made his position very clear on this. And that's okay, because we're going to have some legal immigration. We're going to have some people come into the country that have unique skills. That's fine. I think Donald Trump thinks it's fine. What we aren't going to have are people pouring over the southern border, people coming in over this porous border for, nefarious purposes. That's all going to stop, and we are going to have mass deportations of people who shouldn't be here. That can also happen, but that shouldn't preclude the Republican Party from embracing the idea of bringing in...
No, we need some high-tech cotton pickers. Has anyone here ran any John Deere tractors lately? I mean, you have to be a software developer to run a John Deere.
Highly talented individuals who can do unique things for our country. I think these two worldviews can coexist, and more importantly, Donald Trump thinks they can coexist, and that's the position he's laid out.
That's certainly the position he's laid out indeed. All right, Scott Jennings, thank you very, very much.
Okay, guys, now we're going to go to another section tonight. We're talking about a crack in the infrastructure of the foundation of the Trump MAGA movement. At least that's what CNN says.
Immigration crackdown when he takes office 25 days from now. We're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are both facing major blowback from their own supporters for not only backing, but encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday, Musk posted this online saying, think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be. He later added, I'm referring to bringing...
I agree with that.
In via legal immigration the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning. He's talking about H-1B visas, which allow employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers. Musk, who himself is from South Africa, said that he once had this kind of visa, and he's arguing that Silicon Valley is facing a shortage of excellent engineering talent, as he put it. But the annual cap on those kinds of visas right now is at $65,000, with another $20,000 for those who get a master's or a doctorate in the U.S. Musk is being backed up by his partner in Trump's government efficiency initiative, Vivek Ramaswamy. He says it's a cultural issue that there aren't more competitive engineers in the U.S. Here's what he said online.
Now, Vivek and Elon, that's a powerful duo.
Culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater.
Prom queen over mathematicians. I'm just not sure how they mean that. The definitions, the Democrats' definition of queen can vary sometimes.
Over Screech and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. But that argument is not going over well with Trump's MAGA base, certainly not online. Some of them saying, we did not ask them to engineer an immigration policy. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. You don't even know what MAGA immigration policy is. Now, Trump himself, who I should note restricted H-1B visas in his first term, has said on the campaign trail this time around that he did want to make it easier for educated foreigners to work in the U.S.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years.
I think it's a great idea. I might make it 4 years instead of 2 years. And also not a degree in grass growing or babysitting techniques, but, you know, a real career.
If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country.
My political sources tonight are former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Sir Michael Singleton, and also CNN economics and political commentator Catherine Rampell. And Catherine, you have covered this issue for a long time. Can you just lay out what we're looking at here in this divide between what Elon Musk says he thinks would be the best for the United States and why we are seeing something that we have not seen, frankly, almost at all lately, which is a lot of people in the MAGA universe outright disagreeing with him, arguing with him, and breaking with him online?
What's happening to CNN? I mean, they're usually like terrible to Trump. I mean, they're not being, real nice to him right now, but they're kind of just backhanding him a little bit, not real hard. So we'll see where this goes.
So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in this particular case, I think, are exactly right. America's ability to attract talent from around the world is basically our economic superpower. The fact that, in particular, we've been able to attract high-skilled immigrants quite reliably in this country over the past century or so is why we have this enduring leadership in science, tech, and business. So just as an example, of all Fortune 500 companies, about half of them were founded by immigrants or the children of immigrants. And of the Nobel laureates, American Nobel laureates who have received prizes for the hard sciences this century, about 40% of them are immigrants who came to this country. So again, this is our superpower, and I'm very glad that Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy recognize it. I very much hope that they...
We are draining all the other countries of their brain power. Chinese, French, Germans, they're all coming here. And dishwashers.
are able to influence Donald Trump on this particular issue, but I'm doubtful about it because, just as you mentioned, in his first term, Trump was actually quite hostile to legal immigrants, in particular, by the way, high-skilled legal immigrants. He made it really hard for them to come here, not just those who wanted work authorization, international students.
And guys, just to let you know, I'm really for immigration. I think immigration's great. I think it's good for our country. But I'm just like Trump. I'm for legal immigration. You have to do it the correct way. You know, you have to apply to be a citizen. You've got to fill out all the forms. I guess it's the State Department, if I'm not mistaken, if you want to become a citizen. But you got to, do everything they need. You have to get the shots, the tests, and you have to prove to America why you would benefit our country for being here. Other than that, I think it's great. Now we do need a limit. I mean, you can't do it like the Democrats, where you just say, okay, we don't have a border anymore. Just everybody come on over. We're not going to check you. We don't know. We don't care who you are. You can be rapists or killers or muggers or whatever. Just come on over. If there's a chance in hell that you would vote for us, you're in, baby. That's what the Democrats thought. But anyways, I digress.
Who cross-subsidize American students, by the way. He basically harassed them and made it very difficult for them to keep their legal documents in order. That's because, as much as Trump has said, he only objects to illegal immigration, he's very much in favor of legal immigration. His policies don't bear that out, and that's partly because Stephen Miller is the one who was the architect of Donald Trump's immigration policies last time around.
Doom, 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 doom. Steve Miller. I don't agree with that statement at all.
And will probably do so again this time around, and is unlikely to adopt the sort of Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy view of things.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's getting a huge job in the West Wing. He's been around Trump for the 4 years he was out of office. And sure, Michael, as the Republican here, I wonder what your view on this is, because this is happening within the Republican Party. I mean, these are two top advisors to Trump, the MAGA world, who are kind of framing this as the true believers, who say, we asked for stricter immigration policies. That didn't mean coming with a carve out for high skilled workers that they say are taking American jobs here.
Yeah, look, I think with all due respect to Mr. Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they should focus on saving federal dollars for the taxpayers and not immigration policy. I understand some of the points that Catherine made, and I agree to an extent, but I think the U.S. should focus more on domestic skill development. Studies also show that H-1B1 exacerbates employers hiring individuals from outside of the country when they could potentially hire.
I can't see if a guy's picking beans if you're going to say, sir, how are you with domestic skills development? I'm just saying. But anyways, everyone's welcome as long as you fill out the forms, get your shots, prove to us you have a way to support yourself once you get here, and that you are good for America. Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks, guys.